Nope, almost home. I guess this is going to be the introduction to the video. It's been a couple of days now running around. He had a visitor. He made the mistake of asking me if there was anything he could do to help. So you might see some video there. But one of the takeaways is, yet again, having spent time with the cutting edge in Greenwich, New York, not Greenwich, Greenwich. What an awesome shop. Those guys treated me very well. And so did the Makita rep there, and so did Greg Wade, who's a rep for Oregon. I guess he's more battery than the cutting stuff, but the bars and the chains and stuff like that. And, quite the adventure. Maybe I'll call this video Greg's Awesome Chainsaw Adventure. So.
After 100 yards, you have reached your destination.
This was an interesting one. I figured maybe I better put it on the YouTube channel. And it wasn't running good. And look at that stuff in there. So you had a load of crap in the fuel. So I put a new tank of fuel in it, and it started running better and better and better. And the other thing is, take a look at the way that chain is sharpened. And sure enough, it doesn't cut very well. So my diagnosis for this saw is bad fuel and a lousy cut on the chain, a lousy sharpening job on the chain. I'm down and determined to catch fish on this particular rod and reel combination because it's fun to operate. But I really haven't been as successful as you might think. And so we're going to give it a chance tonight as I reflect on the weekend. Ooh, got one. Look at that. And we went to the Railroad Museum. Down in Pennsylvania. Little fish. Let's see if I can get it out of its mouth. Minimal trauma. That's why I debarb my hooks, so it's easy to get a fish out. But went down to the Railroad Museum this weekend down in Scranton, Pennsylvania. But there's a couple of takeaways that really kind of struck me, and kind of like my audience to consider. The first is this. Those people took on these enormous projects with basically primitive tools. And through perseverance and ingenuity, they didn't have EPA, any of that stuff. They had the desire to build an infrastructure to make money, of course, sell coal, deliver coal, and created this immense infrastructure across the country to do exactly that, powered by coal, and was the infrastructure and foundation that really allowed the nation to grow into what it was in the early 1900s, and then developed that to a degree that during the 30s and 40s, especially in the 40s during the Second World War, they could move massive amounts of raw materials and also massive amounts of manufacturing goods, and allowed us to fight 2 world wars. A lot of that was actually possible because of the railway system that was created during that period of time. I guess the other subject I want to bring up quickly before I get into doing some more saw work is I have a guest coming this week, and you've seen him before in the video, so I'll leave it at that. Oh, I saw a fish go for it. And we had all kinds of plans and intentions, and I'm not sure if we're going to be able to accomplish any of them because of the weather. The weather's been just non-stop rain, so my projects that I've been working on out here in the hill have been delayed because of the weather. And we had just torrential rains yesterday. I went up and looked at my road and looked at the field and realized I'm not going to be able to get back up in there to do real work for at least a week. So that means I can get back into the shop. Got another little tiny one. Let's see if I can get him to shake off. Prompt as possible. So go ahead, ask your questions again.
Oh, so you were... Why were the guys wanting to stay with the power match versus going with the lighter bar?
And that was, like I said, so, you know, delamination, basically, that you'd end up with, you know, these 3 pieces of steel laying there or whatever, versus the solid bar that can never delaminate. And, you know, and then the, you know, obviously the utility part of that is you can change out the nose, you know, very easily because it only has 1 rivet in it, where if you did try and do those, there's 5. You know, that you've got to work with, and then chase all those little parts and make sure they all get back in there. But that actually has a sealed bearing set up in it. That's why there's no grease hole.
Okay.
You know, and those have, you can still see the grease hole on that. When we come out with the new version of the power match or the power cut bar, it's going to have a new style nose in it that'll actually have a sealed bearing like that. Power cut is the name of what they'll use for the name of the solid bar with the replaceable nose.
Okay.
Instead of power match. Power match is the old name.
Okay, so that's the old one.
Yeah.
And that's
going to be the new. That's the new name, but that one doesn't have the new nose on it yet.
Okay, gotcha. So okay. So as far as the tips going out, I really haven't had trouble. Back when Walt let me try some total bars, we did have trouble with that, like right away.
Yeah.
What's the difference going to be between the XL and this?
So it's the same cutter, but it actually has it's got a multi-axis grind on it. It doesn't have near as aggressive. It's not nearly as aggressive on the hook angle.
Okay.
It almost looks like when you look at the side plate profile, it almost looks like square ground. When you first look at it, you're like, whoa, hang on a second, because of the, you know, if you look at the hook on this. You know, that's pretty solid, you know, as far as the hook angle on it.
Right here.
Yeah, on the side plate. This, on the new EXL, it's a little more vertical.
So does it give you a narrower cut?
It won't give you a narrower cut, but it's got a lot less feed pressure. It'll jump in, you know, and go. Okay. And you can actually lean on it more and it won't grab. It's got a different tie strap on it that actually holds more oil than that system there.
Okay.
And then it also has grooves on the drivers to actually move oil up to the bearing surfaces.
He has a sweet spot for the old stuff.
But
he used to sell that stuff.
Okay.
Well, because I started out as a Windsor rep at Oregon, because we own Windsor and we own Carlton and we own Oregon, and so anyway, they've packaged stuff over the years for different folks, and you actually may have had some Windsor chain in some of the Winsman Pro chain that you got.
And that's probably, I don't know if that would have been 10, 12, 14 years ago.
That would have been Windsor. Okay, you got it. Because now it's about 9 years ago, it would have changed over to Carlton. Okay, so 12 years ago, it would have been Windsor.
Okay, so, all right.
So my selfish question is completely different.
Oh.
Tell me about that wood saw. Did it survive?
Yes. The hot build on the Husky 372.
The Chinese build, yeah.
With Chinese parts. Probably been running it, at least a month and a half, I think. And still running good and doing very good.
Starts easy and all that?
I would say. Yeah. You want me to? I haven't been running this one today. Do you want me to?
I'd be curious to see how much of a pain in the neck it is to start. We'll go out here.
It is got quite a lot of compression, so you want to use the decompressor.
that's got the Oregon bar that we put on it then. That's got to be, oh my God, a month and a half, 2 months ago.
So do you like the short hoods like that, or do you like the big, the tall hoods?
I don't know as it matters to me.
As long as they run.
Yeah. What I'm trying to do is to be able to stay going in this business. And so I used to cut with a 390, and of course it's a smaller saw,
Right.
but lighter. And I'm just trying to be able to keep working because
You gotta understand now that Matt, when I first met Matt, he did everything. Limbing, fucking everything with the 390 and the 6 stand up. And I'm like, Jesus, how long is your back gonna last doing that?
well, see, I'm feeling like I'm getting worn out. It's just how it is.
Right.
And so I'm trying to, be a little easier on things and just keep going.
Right.
And I think a small saw like this versus the 390 is part of the plan.
If you were to try to describe the difference between the new 572 and the old 372s, how?
Well, I feel like this one likes to run fast. I don't think you can hog it quite as hard as your hot built 372.
Yeah.
But they're both good. Kind of similar in
Wait.
weight. Yeah, I mean clearly easier to run than a 390 all day.
Good.
What's the weight difference?
Well, actually, the one that I put in, if you look at the scale, is going to be about 13.8 empty.
Yeah.
And the new 572 is about 14.5. So that other saw is lighter. There's no doubt.
And then how much is a regular, like a 385 or a 390? What do
15,
those weigh?
15.2. Yeah. So when I'm talking third person here, yeah, it is lighter. I mean, it's going to be lighter than the 572 by almost a pound.
I'm not sure if there's just something about, I don't know, maybe it is just the pound, the way they, hold and stuff. I ran one of Jesse's 576s pretty much all day one day, and I thought that worked out pretty good too.
Yeah, they're nice saws. They're about the same weight as your new one.
And I know he works in the woods. He'll run the 576 pretty much all day, and about the only time he'll use the 390 is for sectioning.
Yeah, horsepower. Yeah, just ripping. What a view. Every time I come up here, Matt.
Yeah, we're kind of on the top of the hill here.
Well, I'll tell you what. When you had an old 372 X-Torque, I don't see it here. When that thing finally comes apart, and you're tired of it, I'll build it into one of those.
Okay. Yeah, that one's at home.
Yeah. So this must be the XPW.
That's the one that you made for me
Last
3
year.
months ago or
Yeah.
4 or whatever it was.
Yeah. Good.
So what I'm going to do is switch your bar off and give you your saw back, and I'll just put it back on. So mine will be doing the place of that one.
Okay.
Usually when I go to the woods, I take 2.
Yeah.
In case, I run the 572, and if I get it pinched or whatever, and then I'll also run the 372. And
So that one there has had the honors.
well, yesterday I was sectioning with your 372.
It did pretty well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Good. That's what I needed to hear. What we're going to do right here is things are a bit of a mess, but we're going to take apart this saw. This.
Yeah, I think
This.
you're going to be semi. I think that'll do it. I think that may have been what it was.
That would be so cool.
Is my feeling. It may be the wrong feeling.
So,
Or do they have pizza delivery out this far?
I can just go get stuff.
then we can go. I'll get out of here.
I don't know if you want me to keep going, but
Keep going, get running.
I think that's what it was. think it's fixed.
See, that alone makes it worth this trip.
Right.
He doesn't love working on those.
Do what?
He doesn't love working on those.
Well, we were exchanging 260 or 026 stories, and I told him I can't get mine to run right. So then he said he couldn't get his to run at all. I'm like, well, that's not a good thing.
Now you know why.
God, but here's the thing. So that 385 is older. It's got a Tillotson carburetor on it.
Yeah.
So is EM, is that Electrolux manufacturing?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
That's a Bob question.
Up, so it looks like I'm more official.
So, a couple things.
Yeah.
Is when you pull these apart, there's a couple little pieces you got to keep track of. You got to keep track of that sleeve.
Yeah. And the shim.
Goes underneath it.
Right.
And I haven't seen it yet, but there's a little.
O-ring.
It's got to be on the crank then when we pull it apart.
I got that. I ordered that though.
Okay,
I
good.
ordered all of that.
Good. The other thing is on the oil pump.
Yeah.
You got to keep track of these a little bit shorter screws because they're kind of unique to the oil pump. So do something. I don't care how you store your stuff, but do something where you kind of keep them together. It's called a temper tantrum. Boom. Yeah, he's been doing quite a bit of work here. There's a bunch of trees down, 4 or 5 now. Didn't have the camera running. I don't know if he really wanted the camera to go. We gotta fish this thing up out of the ditch. Then I gotta fish some other stuff up out of the ditch because we're pulling the trees across the big wads of sod and it was pulling them in.
That little dude right there that's in the fence,
Yeah,
does it come down?
if you can get it down. Make sure there's no, make sure we didn't put a tack into it. I'd let it come right out this way if you could.
Did you have fun?
I did. A lot.
So I just got educated what these are called. But I'm not going to say it.
So I only have readers. I only have readers on. So this is going to be shooting from the hip.
See, this is called qualifiers. He wants to start making excuses before he makes
Right.
his first bird turd.
Before I screw this up royal. So we're going to go.
See, I have no pride. I know I can't weld.
We'll come take a look at this and see if that's where you think it ought to be.
I think we're going to call that the banana saw. I think it works fine.
It's the pipester.
It's a pipester. You know what we got to do? We got to come up with some narrative where this is like from a fluid dynamics perspective. That
Right.
curvature was something we really wanted to have in there.
Well, it's
better flow.
right when you've got the saw. When you're in a bias cut, that'll actually hold the saw up. But the down pressure, is actually pushing the saw up, so you got a lot less. The saw hanging over as much.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So it's not nearly as stringent.
But it's pushing it to the side.
Want to get a test on there? I don't see how this hot or.
No, because I'm going to stitch it in, so it's all good. That should be hot enough.